What happens when a client calls your art worthless? People think I'm a potter. What I really am is a high-stakes gambler. I don't just make coffee mugs. My specialty is crystalline glaze. You have to understand what that means. It's not paint, it's alchemy. You are growing crystals, fractals of zinc and silica, inside a 300-degree kiln. You're manipulating chemistry and fire to create something that shouldn't exist. It's volatile, it's expensive, and it's heartbreaking. You can spend 30 hours on a piece, do everything perfectly, and the crystals just don't bloom. The kiln gods are cruel. It's a 50% failure rate easily. I've got a 50-ton hydraulic press in the corner of my studio just to deal with the graveyard. It's the only way to crush the failures. These 40-pound tombstones of clay and time, back into dust for recycling. It's a brutal, necessary part of the job. You know, my utility bill last month was over $600 just to run the kiln. My colleagues, the smart ones, they make mugs, they make dinnerware sets. They have a predictable, steady inventory. They can take an order for one blue mug and know, with 100% certainty, that's what will come out of the fire. I can't. I've chosen this. I've chosen to be a partner with chaos. And it's not just the money or the electricity, it's the time. My recipe book for these glazes, it looks like a mad scientist's diary. Hundreds of tests, years of failures. You don't just buy crystalline glaze, you earn it, you bleed for it. So when I say it's a gamble, I'm not being poetic. I am, quite literally, gambling my mortgage payment against the laws of physics, hoping to win. But when it works, you don't just get a pot, you get a galaxy, a snapshot of chaos, frozen in glass. Every single piece is a one-of-a-kind miracle. And that is what my new client, Jasmine Sandpole, wanted. Or at least, what she thought she wanted. She commissioned a massive $800 custom vase. She was, let's just say, she was the human equivalent of a 2-page email at AM. From the second she paid the $200 deposit, the micromanagement began. She'd request update photos when it was still a 40-pound lump of wet clay. She'd send me Pinterest photos.
Can you make sure the crystals are big, like this?
I had to explain multiple times, Jasmine, as we discussed and as is in our contract, I don't control that. The fire does. That's the beauty of it. I'd send her an update photo of the trimming process. The vase, still gray clay, sitting on my wheel. Her reply?
Looks good. Is it almost done?
I had to gently explain that it was still essentially a very well-shaped piece of mud. But the worst was the voice memo. It came in at PM.
Hi, it's Jasmine. I was just thinking. I saw this really pretty one online that had, like, a swirl. The crystals were in a swirl pattern. Can you make sure mine does the swirl? That would be great. Thanks.
A swirl. She was asking me to tell to 300-degree fire to swirl. She just didn't get it. She wasn't buying art. She was ordering a product from a factory. She was ordering a pizza and asking for extra pepperoni. But the money was good, so I pushed forward. I spent over 30 hours on her piece. And let me tell you what that means. It's an entire day at the wheel, my back screaming, my hands raw, just fighting this massive form to be perfect. It's another day of trimming, carving the foot ring with a surgeon's steadiness. One slip, the piece is dead. It's the first bisque firing. 12 hours of waiting to see if a single, tiny air bubble in the clay is going to turn my 30-hour piece into a 40-pound clay bomb inside my kiln. It survived. Then, the glazing. 2 days of agonizing, careful chemistry. My studio stops being a studio and becomes a laboratory. I've got my goggles on, my respirator. I'm not a potter. I'm an apothecary. I'm weighing out lithium carbonate, zinc oxide, silica. I'm measuring to the 10th of a gram. One tiny extra tap of the spoon, and the entire formula is off. One moment of carelessness, and it's not a deep cobalt blue. It's a dull, muddy, sickening green. Or worse, the glaze runs. It becomes too fluid in the fire, runs down the side of the pot, and fuses it permanently to the $2,000 kiln shelf, destroying both. This is the part she doesn't see. This is the part no one sees. This isn't painting. This is me. For 2 straight days, my back aching, my eyes strained, mixing compounds and layering them with a surgeon's steadiness. This glaze is, in itself, a $100 gamble before it even sees the fire. Finally, the final 24-hour crystal firing. The grand gamble. You seal that kiln door. You hit start. and you give it to the gods. You don't know, you just don't know. You go to bed, but you don't sleep, you just wait. The next day, I waited for it to cool. I held my breath. I cracked the kiln door, the heat and steam hitting my face. It was perfect. No, it was more than perfect. It was a masterpiece. The crystals had exploded across the surface in a deep cobalt blue, like frost on a midnight window pane. It was, genuinely, one of the most stunning things I had ever created. My hands were shaking. I was so proud. I took a photo. I sent it to her. Her reply came back in less than a minute.
The crystals aren't as big as I wanted.
I read that again and again. I took a breath. I was a professional. I replied, "Hi, Jasmine. As we discussed when you commissioned the piece, the crystalline glazes are organic and grow randomly in the kiln. That's what makes them unique, and this one came out absolutely beautifully." Her reply,
This isn't what I paid for. I'm not taking it.
I wrote back, "Jasmine, I'm sorry you feel that way. As per our signed contract, the $200 deposit is non-refundable as it covers the materials and firing costs. If you are refusing the final piece, the contract is now void and I will retain the item." That's when she exploded. The all-caps email.
I will blast your small business on every social media platform.
She demanded her deposit back. She demanded the vase for free as compensation for her time. I held firm. I simply resent a screenshot of the contract she had signed. Her last message. That was the one that did it. She wrote,
Fine, keep your ugly pot. What are you going to do? Just throw it away. It's worthless. You're a terrible artist.
"Worthless? A terrible artist?" And you know what? For one hot, sickening second, I believed her. My stomach dropped. I looked at the vase. This thing I had pulled from the earth. This masterpiece. And suddenly, all I could see were its flaws. Is she right? Are the crystals too small? Is it ugly? Did I waste 30 hours of my life on junk? The $800 was gone. The hours were gone. All my pride. It just evaporated. I was left standing in my studio, covered in clay dust, with an $800 piece of worthless art that I now had to, what? Put in a corner? Sell at a craft fair for $50? I felt small. I felt like a fraud. I looked at her message on my phone. Worthless? I looked at the beautiful $800 work of art sitting on my table. And that's when the sadness curdled. It turned hard. It turned into something else. And then, I looked at the 50-ton hydraulic press I keep in the corner of my studio, the one I used to crush my failures. But suddenly, I had a much, much better idea. That's when I stopped being a polite business owner, and I started being an artist. I set up my best camera. I got out my macro lens. I put my high-fidelity ASMR mic right next to the press. Only then, once the stage was set, I messaged her back one last time. As per our contract, all non-purchased items will be disposed of at the artisan's discretion. Thank you for your business. She called my art worthless. I decided right then that if she wasn't going to pay for my art, I was going to turn its disposal into performance art. I picked up the vase, felt the weight of it, the perfect balance, and placed it perfectly in the center. I took a deep breath, and I hit the down button. It was the most satisfying thing I have ever seen. That was the first crystal, the first hairline fracture. My macro lens caught it, a tiny silver thread racing across the blue glaze. You could see the exact moment the pressure became too much. The glaze, it spider-webbed in a millisecond. And then the entire 30-hour piece, it didn't shatter. It disintegrated. It imploded in on itself in a glittering, colorful, slow-motion cascade. The ASMR mic picked up everything. The initial tink, the shattering, and the sound of 1,000 tiny crystals turning into glittering, cobalt blue dust. It was beautiful. I let the press retract. I carefully swept all the glittering dust and ceramic fragments into a small glass jar. I wrote a clean, simple label on it. J. Sandpool commission disposed of. O. And the video. The 4,000 slow motion ASMR video. I posted it online. I titled it, Disposing of a Worthless $800 Commission. It got 10 million views in 2 days. Then, my inbox really blew up. A message came in from a verified account, a very famous, very wealthy art collector. He said,
I need to own this. The story, the final piece, the statement. It's perfect. You turned a toxic client relationship into performance art. The destruction is the final part of the process. I will give you $15,000 for the jar of dust and a video interview.
I agreed. The interview went live. The story went everywhere. And that's when Jasmine Sandpool messaged me again.
Okay, fine. I saw the video. Everyone's talking about it. I'll give you $1,000 for the jar. That's $200 more than I was originally going to pay. Just send me your PayPal.
I actually laughed out loud. The nerve, the absolute unmitigated gall. She still thought she could buy it, and she was still trying to haggle. I let myself enjoy that moment, just for a second. Then I typed back, "I'm sorry. That item has already been sold for $15,000. Thank you for your interest." So, right now, I'm leaning back in my studio chair. On one monitor, I'm watching the interview I did. The comments are scrolling by. Legend, an icon, the queen of boundaries. And on my other monitor, my commission calendar. Booked, solid, for the next 6 months. And every single new client, every single one, has already paid the new 50% non-refundable deposit. No exceptions. Jasmine Sandpool said my art was worthless. She just didn't understand. In my studio, there's no such thing as worthless. There is only art, and the material for more art.